The Seven Deadly Sins series is over. All the main characters have now had their happily ever afters and are living their new lives with new family members. But now new adventures await with the new generation. The Four Knights of the Apocalypse series has been out for over a couple of years now. And who is the new main protagonist of the series? Well, it's not this kid. Nope, it's this kid. The one with the green hair and the weird wings. It's a bizarre change, sure. It's like if in Boruto, the son of Naruto Uzumaki is being sidelined by a new character named Jeff. Then again, this sequel series was supposed to be focused on, Arthur Pendragon, the very lead of the Arthurian legends in which this entire series is based around. Now, this isn't to say that both Arthur and Tristan are entirely sidelined. They are heavily focused in the series, but yet they're not the main focus. It's bizarre, or should I say, chaotic. Okay. Hi guys, my name is Dante, and welcome to the Anime Underworld. Today I'm going to be giving my piece of advice for Tristan Liones, the potential character who got sidelined for a little pipsqueak with winged hair. Before I begin my tale and advice, I would much appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to my channel and help me advance my channel beyond the realm of the Underworld. Give it a couple of likes, give it a couple of shares, and please let me know what I can do to improve my videos. What would you like to see later on? With that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, before I get into Tristan Liones himself, I want to give a few summary notes about what exactly his world is. The Seven Deadly Sins and the Four Knights of the Apocalypse are heavily inspired by Arthurian legends, meaning that the whole setting is in ancient Britannia during the time of King Arthur. We have all sorts of famous characters that you've probably heard from your English class in high school. We have King Arthur, we have Merlin, we have Tristan Liones, famous for the story of Tristan and Isolde. We have Lancelot, we have Guinevere. We have the whole cast and a few others in this year's series. Despite Tristan Liones being the son of the last two main protagonists in the other series, he's not. The series is now in the hands of Percival, whose job is to reintroduce new fans to the world that Nakaba Suzuki had established prior. Now, Percival isn't a bad protagonist. I was rather surprised that he got the main lead instead of Tristan. He's the one who's now pretty much the new face of the series. He's got his own unit in Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, he's being the new lead in the Seven Deadly Sins Origins game, and he's also the main protagonist in the two movies Grudge of Edinburgh. Now, I don't hate Percival. He's actually pretty fun. He's small, he's unintentionally pervy, he's not like Meliodas. He is 16, he's not 3,000. He's got a little bit of a mystery to him. He's overall fun. He's like a marshmallow puppy that you want to just hold and squeeze and never want to let go or be harmed. Percival, who has been secluded from the world for a long time, is supposed to introduce new fans to the world that Nakaba Suzuki had previously established, and so far he's doing a pretty good job being surprised by this bizarre world. He's being told all the past histories and events that happened in the previous series. The whole event with the Demon King, the Supreme Deity, Cath, Arthur Pendragon, it's all happening through the eyes of new eyes. And what is Percival seeing for the first time in his life? A world full of bigotry and hate. The age of humans has begun. Humans are now sick and tired of anything that isn't their race. Demons, fairies, giants, goddesses, anyone who isn't a human needs to either be isolated or killed off in order to protect the human race from whatever they're doing. Yeah, this ideology has now come from Arthur Pendragon himself, who is now, surprisingly, the villain. And since the Seven Deadly Sins were majority, non-human, with the leader being a demon, then there were giant fairies, oh my, this is not going to be great. But there is a prophecy. The Four Knights of the Apocalypse are destined to bring about the destruction and end of Camelot. And Percival is the Knight of Death, along with the Knights of War Lancelot, the Knight of Famine Gawain, and of course the subject of this video, the Knight of Pestilence, Tristan Liones. Next generation sequels revolve around three things for the child of the new main protagonist. They are facing the sins of their parents, they're growing out of their shadows, or discovering their true selves. And Tristan seems to be doing all three. The young lad has certainly built up an image for himself both in a positive and negative light. To the kingdom of Leonis and its allies, he is the son of two famous heroes and a prince who is willing to put his well-being on the line to protect civilians from harm. He's not a selfish prince, he wants to be selfless. As of the making of this video, when it comes to the demons, Tristan is despised for being half goddess, as well as the son of the infamous traitor Meliodas, which is understandable considering his dad killed a lot of their kind for the love and affection of a goddess, aka their enemy, which led to the Holy War and them being sealed away. Yeah, that grudge is probably not going to be going away anytime soon. And the hatred for Tristan is just as strong. The demons that we've seen so far are even calling him essentially a slur. They're calling him Nephilim, or as the translation goes, impure child. That's mean, giving this poor sweet lad the N-word. How dare you? Have you no souls, you demons? So as of the making of this video, Tristan is working with the demon clan in the demon realm, which is, they're not giving him the best treatment. They'll tolerate him, but they will always find a way to belittle him, just for what he is, rather than who he is. And the hatred for what Tristan is can be the same for humans aligned with Camelot. From what has been seen from the Camelot Knights who wish to prevent the prophecy, he's just a freak who doesn't deserve to live in their new age. They believe killing him and the other knights will prevent humanity from falling from their new glorious age of chaos. So regardless of what Tristan has become, whether it's being a hero, the enemies will always see for what he is rather than who he is. And how does Tristan see himself? Well, he wants to be a heroic figure just like the Knights of Liones and his father. He wants to become famous, but he also wants to be selfless and chivalrous. He forges his own name by doing what he does, not because he keeps living in his parents' shadow. However, there is a side to him that terrifies him. It makes him afraid to just be a hero because sooner or later he might have to call on it, and that is his demon side. I compare this internal struggle to Aang from Avatar with his firebending, because both have harmed a dear friend of theirs with their dangerous power. It created a sense of fear within them to never use it again. Both are afraid of losing control of their powers, and it shows. It's understandable. But I think that by the end, both will have a similar result in their journeys of discovery. Aang had to learn that he is the Avatar, and as such, he is a firebender. It is a part of him. Just as being half demon is an essential part to Tristan's own identity, just as his goddess clan half is. And I don't blame Tristan for being afraid. He does become very brutal whenever he uses his demon side. I mean, did you guys see what he did to Melascula? Not only did he turn her into Swiss cheese at one point, but then he turned her head into pimento cheese. Have you guys ever tried pimento? It's really good. Try it for grilled cheese. It's delicious. Back on topic, away from delicious cheese sandwiches, because of this sense of fear, as of the making of this video, Tristan mostly relies on his goddess clan powers, even if they are weaker than his mother's, either due to his young age relative to a goddess or a human, or the fact that Tristan is half goddess. And when it comes down to fighting, he can only switch between either or, light or darkness, but it's never both. Because he doesn't really seem to fully grasp what he is. He's neither a demon nor a goddess, he's, and I hate to use the N-word, a Nephilim. The Nephilim race is very mysterious in the Seven Deadly Sins universe. In the second to last chapter, it was revealed that Tristan is the first natural-born hybrid of a goddess and a demon, yet there are those like Melascula, who was born over 3,000 years ago, have a term for what Tristan is. I hope Nakaba will reveal how this race came to be, but my theory is that they were made artificially, and how they were used probably wasn't for the best. Mael is the best example of this case scenario. When he awakened to his true identity as Mael the Archangel, he could use both light and darkness, keeping both goddesses and demons at bay, not only using each element individually, but combining them. So hopefully when it comes to Tristan finding a mentor, maybe Mael is going to be the best case scenario. However, it wasn't just him who used both light and darkness when combining their powers. Meliodas and Elizabeth both combined Arc and Hellflame when fighting Demon King Zeldris in a combo move called God Eater. This means that the combination of these two separate powers is possible. So if Tristan learns to control his demon clan powers, coming to terms with what he is, he can succeed in being stronger than his parents. And he can also use the power that he feared so much to use for good without hesitation of using it against others harmfully, and continuing to forge his own legacy, which will eventually allow him to unlock what he will make him so fearful among Camelot, and that is the Knight of Pestilence. In the original series, the seven deadly sins all got their titles based on sins that they were accused of in the past. The four Knights of the Apocalypse, by contrast, have received their titles from a prophecy dictating the catastrophes that they'll bring upon, quote-unquote, the world, according to Camelot, in the future. And this future prophecy honestly makes sense. Right now, all of the four knights are just, well, children. They're young lads and ladies who have the potential to grow and become more powerful than the seven deadly sins. But it's going to take a long time, a lot of training, and it just depends on what is going to happen along the way. Based on the title that Tristan Liones has received as the Knight of Pestilence, it could hint to the potential that Tristan himself is going to unlock. Right now, he's mostly using the power of darkness and art, the power of his different clans, but he hasn't unlocked his true potential. It's through the act of self-discovery that Tristan is probably going to be discovering what he's capable of. And based on the title of what Camelot is going to fear him for, it's not going to be great for them. Remember a certain virus that shut down the world in 2020? Well, if Tristan, as the Knight of Pestilence, is going by that title, then he's going to be a walking epidemic maker. And that is not good for anyone. It was stated in Chapter 56 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse that Tristan, despite being able to heal wounds, he can't cure diseases and he can't cure curses. This could be a hint as to what potential Tristan has. Instead of curing all those things, he can make his own curses and illnesses and inflict them on enemies. Now, this is a bunch of irony. Meliodas and Elizabeth have been afflicted by a curse that spanned for 3,000 years, and if it's possible that Tristan can make his own curses to inflict upon others, the irony is really great. Sad, yet great. Given his grandparents too with the Demon King and the Supreme Deity, it seems that little Tristan is going to be picking up a couple of habits. The question is, how is he going to be doing this? In my personal theory, I think that Tristan is going to be learning a lot from Percival's travel companion, Nasiens. Nasiens is a doctor who uses the power of poison, or rather many impurities, to attack and heal surprisingly. My theory is that through Nasiens, Percival could learn to make curses not only to harm enemies, but to also heal others and possibly empower them. Well, empower them, but with a drawback later on. After all, nothing is perfect. It's chaotic. And once Tristan accepts himself for who he is, the Knight of Pestilence, Tristan Liones, and a Nephilim, he could potentially not only be able to switch between darkness and light at ease, but mix them. We saw the potential of what is capable of a Nephilim from Mael when he had 4 commandments. He was able to use dark and light at the same time, meaning that only a giant, a fairy, or a human could defeat him. After all, neither a goddess nor a demon could beat him. So to make up for a weaker arc, he could be able to mix both light and darkness for stronger attacks. And who's going to help him? Hopefully Percival and his friends, but also the remaining members of the Tristan platoon. People who consider Tristan his friend, and, well, they see him more than just being a prince, especially Isolde, who is based off Isolde from the legends, so there's going to be some romantic interest, well, clear romantic interest from Isolde, but hopefully from Tristan later on. And that's all Tristan really needs. He needs people to believe in him. See him beyond just the pretty boy prince of Liones. See him beyond the monstrous Nephilim that many have accused him of. It's weird that this character, who is supposed to be the main protagonist, has been sidelined, but hopefully throughout the rest of the series, Tristan can discover who he is, and along the way, maybe he could save the world while doing it. Just like his parents. This has been Dante from the Anime Underworld. If you like this video, like and subscribe, give it a share, and give me a comment of what I can do to improve and maybe do future videos on later. With that out of the way, I'll see you all next time.